I don't see the relevance of the monarchy today. I would like to see that anybody in a position of power, like the royal family are as monarchy, should demonstrate how they use that power in the interest of the public. But we don't get that because they are not held to the same standards or accountable to the very people they're meant to serve. And I think that, trying to use Harry and Meghan, and this is what some people are trying to do, trying to use Harry and Meghan as the point of conversation as to whether or not the monarchy should be abolished is disingenuous, because the whole conversation about abolishing monarchy existed long before Harry and Meghan. What Harry and Meghan have done, though, is to highlight how the kind of things that happen regularly in families humanize that for the royal family. And if anything, it makes the rest of us, definitely me, go, if you can't take care of one of your own, if you can't address the mental health issues of a member of your family, if you cannot protect your biracial daughter-in-law, how in heaven's name can you represent me, speak for me, or even say that you understand who I am as a Black woman? And this, I think, goes to the very heart of the royal family, not just as an institution, but as a people that we are meant to look up to. Because as far as I'm concerned, I do not see them leading by example in any way, shape, form, or manner. I do not see the relevance of the monarchy today. And if they can demonstrate why they're relevant, I would enjoy listening to that.
The counter-argument to that would be that actually reading Harry's book and hearing the interviews is opening the monarchy up a bit, which is maybe perhaps the way to go forward for the monarchy in a modern Britain.
Well, one function of the monarchy is to give us something to talk about in this early bit of January. I mean, people talk about the soap opera. That has always been a part of it. I mean, it's unofficial, but that is part of the function that they serve to the nation. I slightly disagree if you talk about the demonstrating the service or worth that they have to the public. I think the Queen, in terms of her sort of image and, the state banquets that were held and the amount of hours that they put in direct public service, I think there is evidence of that. But I do think that, look, it doesn't fully make sense. You're right. It is antiquated. It is weird, right? But it is what we have, and I think it's very embedded in our psyche. I think, even now at this point, support for retaining the monarchy is pretty high. I'd be happy for it to go to a referendum because I think it would win. And I would say that, in terms of existential crisis before, if you look at the abdication, that happened at a time when the monarch still had more sort of an active role in democratic and public life. If you look at where the monarchy were at in the early 90s, I mean, with the toe-sucking and God knows what else. We've been here before. And I would argue that I can remember the early 90s, and I think that the public's antipathy towards the royal family was actually deeper then than it is now. So I think it will survive. I think it is illogical, but it's a sort of anachronism that we work in and around.
All the struggles that we've had in recent history have been under the Queen, who has a huge amount of respect from the public. Do you think King Charles can keep up that level of respect?
It's going to be different. He's not the Queen. Right?
I think that the act of the aura and the era of deference ended at the death of Queen Elizabeth. That's not being passed on to anybody else.
I think it changed. I think it will be different.
I don't think it's changed. I think it ended.
I think Charles wants it to be different, in fact.
I think that we have a different generation here. And when you talk about it being antiquated, I need you to understand that when I talk about the relevance of the royal family, I'm not talking about a state banquet. What the heck is that? Having dinner, a nice dinner that somebody else has prepared and being paid for?
No. I'm talking about commerce. I'm talking about visiting state dignitaries and how we foster international relationships.
The realities of the relationship, the differences, the structural inequalities that the monarchy represents in our society. The Queen and her household, and now the King and his household, enjoyed they enjoyed exemptions from laws and discrimination laws, like race discrimination laws, sex discrimination laws, that none of us in this...
No, I'd absolutely agree. They shouldn't be exempt from laws. That wasn't exactly what we were discussing.
Those things are changing now, aren't they,
No,
Shola?
They're not changing. They're still there. And nobody's talking about that. The fact that Prince Charles, for instance, did not pay inheritance tax, that makes no sense to me.
I agree. I agree with you on that. But I think that these are things that are set to change in the monarchy.